Hello. Jonathan's been busy again. I have another question or two from Jonathan. He says, in your TED talk, you said that in your younger years, you were so filled with anger that you didn't care for your safety. You didn't fear death. Now that you have made peace with your demons, do you now fear your own death? That's the first question, and I'll talk into that first. No, I don't fear death. I've seen my mortality. I've been close to death. And today I'm reconciled with the fact that we all die. I also have a good understanding that we all have a purpose in life. I think that actually, that feeds into Jonathan's second question. I'll read that as well. How do you feel about the inevitability of mortality, and what do you think the meaning of life is? Big questions. The meaning of life. If I was going to be a little bit flippant about that, I'd say 42, in reference to Douglas Adams. However, in my mind, the meaning of life is very simple. Very, very simple. And that is to live a good life, to have a good life as best as you can. I acknowledge that not everybody can do that. I acknowledge that a lot of people live in sufferance. But I think to better oneself on a daily basis is a good purpose in life. To help others, to be a part of, to share. The obvious end game in the meaning of life is to have children and continue the human species, the same as any animal, insect, or whatever. It's about continuing life. What we do with that life is entirely up to us. So I used to be very afraid of death, and I was very afraid of death because I hadn't reconciled myself with my past. Now that I have reconciled myself with my past, I don't fear death. Death is a part of life. Without death, there can be no life. And that's just the way of the world. That's the way of life and death. I love to get up in the morning, and I love to go to bed at night. And one of the interesting things about that is that before I'd actually reconciled myself with my past, and when I lived in that deep depression and had all that anxiety, I used to hate getting out of bed in the morning. I dread getting out of bed in the morning. And then when I did get out of bed and the day went by and I hated everything in the day, then I didn't want to go to bed. So there was that contradiction. I never wanted to get out of bed, and I never wanted to go to bed. So, I lived most of my life not wanting to do something. Now, I love the sunrise. I love watching the plants grow. I love watching the seasons change. That's life. And for me, that's the meaning of life, to enjoy everything that happens, to enjoy the birth of new birds, new animals. Keeping it very, very simple. Just keeping it very simple. So, not a deep answer. I don't think that I have to be too deep on that one. It's just a very simple enjoyment of life.